Imagine standing in a silent room and someone whispers, "Beyond everything you can name, there is the One. Not a god among gods, not a star or an angel, but the source of all things, too simple, too perfect, to be captured by words." This is the vision of Plotinus, the 3rd century philosopher whose thought became the heart of Neoplatonism and whose idea of God still stuns us today. Who was he? Born in Roman Egypt around 204 CE, Plotinus studied in Alexandria under the elusive Ammonius Saccas. Later he moved to Rome, taught and lived quietly. He wrote treatises that his student Porphyry arranged into 6 groups of 9, the Enneads. Plotinus does not hand us a system like a map. He invites us into an ascent from the many to the one, from noise to silence, from shadows to the source. He speaks of 3 primary realities, 3 hypostases. First, the one, beyond being and beyond thought. Then nous, the intellect that contains all intelligible forms. Third, soul, the living bridge that pours life into the cosmos. From the one, nous shines forth. From nous, soul flows. And from soul, the ordered world appears. Notice the direction, not a temporal event, but an eternal outpouring, an overflow of goodness. The one gives without losing anything. But who or what is this one? Plotinus is careful. The one is not a thing. To call it being is already to say too much. Why? Because being is already a kind, a category, a limit. The one is prior to all limits. It is sheer unity, absolute simplicity, beyond every predicate. So we approach by negation. Not composite, not many, not spatial, not temporal, not changeable. Each not clears the path for a purer vision. From this absolute simplicity, nous arises like light from a sun. Nous is the realm of living ideas, beauty, justice, life, not abstractions, but luminous realities. Soul then unfolds the harmony of nous into motion, time, and cosmos. It animates the heavens and also the life within each of us. You are a soul, called to remember your origin. Here is Plotinus's challenge. If our minds are scattered among changing things, we live divided and dim. But if we gather the soul inward, purify our attention, and love what is truly good, our inner sight clears. We begin to sense the quiet pressure of the one. This is a philosophy of transformation. Ethics is not a list of rules. It is the art of becoming single-hearted. Practical step 1, simplify. Choose fewer desires so your soul can be one. Unity within prepares you for unity above. Practical step 2, contemplate beauty without grasping. Let form and order lift your mind to nous instead of trapping you in pleasure. Practical step 3, practice interior silence, because in silence you learn what cannot be said, and the path to the one begins to open. Plotinus often describes the soul's journey as a ladder. Each rung is a step away from distraction and a step closer to the source. At the lowest level, the soul is tied to the body. It chases pleasure, fears pain, and forgets its true home. But the human being is not only body. We have reason, memory, and imagination. When guided rightly, these can turn us upward. For Plotinus, philosophy is not just argument. It is therapy for the soul, a way of cleansing the eyes of the heart. He urges us to contemplate beauty, not only in statues or music or nature, but in the order that shines through them. Every beautiful thing points beyond itself. When we allow it to lift our vision, the soul begins to remember the higher world. From beauty we rise to justice, from justice to wisdom, and from wisdom to nous, the living intellect. Here the soul contemplates eternal truths, not opinions that change with fashion, but the forms themselves, unchanging realities. Yet even nous is not the end. Plotinus insists, beyond nous, beyond intellect lies the one. How can we approach what is beyond thought? By letting go of every image, every concept, every name. It is a movement of surrender. He writes that in rare moments the soul is alone with the alone. Here no duality remains, only unity. This union is not a vision of something outside. It is the soul realizing its deepest ground, that its being flows from the One and returns to the One. Plotinus describes it as a sudden flash, like lightning in a dark night, a contact beyond speech, beyond division. But this experience does not last. The soul soon falls back into time and thought, yet it remembers, and that memory shapes its life. He warns, this is not for the careless. The ascent demands purification, discipline, and a love for truth above all else. To live virtuously is not only to behave well, it is to order the soul so that it may rise. Virtue is harmony within, echoing harmony above. Thus for Plotinus, ethics and metaphysics are inseparable. To know reality, you must first become simple. To see the One, you must become one. This is why his philosophy has often been called mystical. It points beyond arguments to transformation, beyond knowledge to union. And so the soul's task is clear, to turn inward, ascend upward, and seek rest in the silence of the One. If the One is beyond being, how then do we explain the world we live in, with its beauty but also its suffering? Plotinus teaches that the cosmos itself is not a mistake or a prison. It is the natural overflow of the One through nous and soul. Think of sunlight streaming from the sun. The rays are not the sun itself, yet they are inseparable from it. In the same way, the world is a distant shining of the One. It is ordered, alive, and filled with traces of divinity. Matter itself is not evil. So where does evil come from? For Plotinus, evil is not a substance. It is the lack, the shadow, the absence of form. Just as darkness is nothing but the absence of light, so too evil is the absence of goodness, the failure to participate in the One. This is a hopeful vision. Because evil has no true being, it cannot stand forever against the good. For the soul, this means we are never cut off from the divine. Even when we stumble, even when we fall into disorder, the light of the One still calls us back. The stars, the seasons, the order of nature, all are signs of nous shaping the cosmos, and within us, soul holds the same divine spark. Thus contemplation is not escape from the world. It is learning to see the world rightly as a reflection of its higher source. Yet Plotinus warns, to cling to the lower as if it were ultimate is to confuse shadow with sun. Pleasure, power, possessions, none of these are evil in themselves, but if we mistake them for the good, they enslave the soul. True freedom, he says, is to live in harmony with nous and soul, to mirror the order of the cosmos within ourselves. This is why contemplation of the heavens mattered so deeply, not as astrology or prediction, but as a reminder that the soul belongs to a greater order. In this way, philosophy becomes a cosmic spirituality. To study the stars, numbers, and harmonies is to glimpse the mind of nous. And to go deeper still is to let go of even these forms and rise back to the One, the silent source of all light. So for Plotinus, the journey of the soul is double, to honor the order of the cosmos and to transcend it toward the source. Every life is this tension. We are stretched between the world of time and the eternity that calls us beyond it. But this tension is not despair. It is the drama of being human, to live in the many, yet seek the one. And in that seeking, Plotinus believed, lies our true destiny. Plotinus believed that philosophy was not only about explaining the universe, it was about transforming the soul. He himself lived this ideal. Porphyry tells us he ate little, owned almost nothing, and was devoted to contemplation and teaching. His students saw in him a man who already lived beyond. They said he seemed ashamed of being in a body, as if his true home was elsewhere. Yet he was not cold or detached. He cared for orphans, guided friends through hardship, and offered philosophy as medicine for the soul. For Plotinus, the ultimate goal was union with the One. This was not escape from life, but the fulfillment of life's deepest longing. He writes that in this union, the soul suddenly shines with light, filled with a joy beyond measure. Here the self is forgotten. There is no thinker and no thought, only the quiet embrace of the source. Such moments are rare, but even the memory of them reshapes the soul, like a traveler who has seen the sea and cannot forget. So the philosopher's task is to prepare the soul through virtue, simplicity, and contemplation, so that when grace comes, it finds us ready. Plotinus shows us that the divine is not far away. It is not in temples of stone or in distant myths. It is the very source of being itself. To seek the One is to seek our origin. To return to the One is to return to ourselves, and in that return, we discover peace. This is why his philosophy shaped centuries of thought. It inspired pagans, Christians, Jews, and Muslims, all who longed for unity beyond division. Today, his voice still speaks. You are not merely body, you are a soul called to ascend. And the steps remain the same. Simplify your desires, seek what is beautiful, and let your mind rise toward truth. Above all, do not stop at words or concepts, for the One is not a theory to be debated, it is a reality to be encountered. So when you look at the stars, or the order of nature, or the silence within your own soul, remember what Plotinus taught. All things flow from the One, all things return to the One, and the soul's joy is to make that journey home. This, for Plotinus, is the true meaning of philosophy, not speculation but transformation, not argument but ascent. So let us walk that path with him, turning inward, rising upward, until we too are alone with the alone. Thank you for joining this journey. If this vision inspired you, subscribe, and let's keep seeking wisdom together.